It's actually a beautiful day to be out. Let me make this turn right quick.
Oh, babe, I'm getting kind of hungry.
You know what? I feel like I can eat myself. I mean, what you in the mood for? What you like?
I really don't know. I'm hungry. I'm real hungry.
Okay, well, I mean, let's think about what's on the way home. We're gonna be passing Olive Gardens. You want some Olive Gardens?
Nah,
No?
I don't want that.
It's gonna be a Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A, they line too long.
What about Panera Bread? I know you know.
No.
No Panera Bread, no Olive Garden, no Chick-fil-A.
Nope.
I know what you want. You want some Benihanas, that splash in the middle, that steak and shrimp, that sushi. You want that yum sauce.
Yeah.
Benihanas it is.
You know it.
All right. Well, let me ask you. You knew from the very beginning that's what you wanted, didn't you?
I did want that from the beginning.
Hey everybody, my name is Joshua Fequiere.
And my name is SueAnn Fequiere.
And we want to welcome you to the F.I.R.S.T.
The F.I.R.S.T stands for finances, intimacy, relationships, sex, time, and we also like transparency.
And you know, for our topic today is actually a very interesting one. It was actually suggested from one of our brothers. You know, who's also a subscriber, Mr. Daniel Fequiere. Shout out to Dan Fequiere for this suggestion. Also, you can follow him, Fequiere Fitness. If you home and you quarantine and you trying not to grow in the wrong direction, you check out Fequiere Fitness. So what Daniel suggested, he said, if you have a dispute, you and your significant other, if you have a dispute on a subject that both of you feel strongly about, and neither of you can find a compromise at the time, how do you resolve the issue while keeping both parties happy?
Ooh.
I think that's a very good one. Just to put it out there, this may or may not be a two-parter because this can get really deep. And if you haven't done so already, check out our previous video. It's talking about the benefits of transparency in a relationship, which is a good good foundation to this topic, because you can never come to an agreement without being transparent. So go ahead and check it out, and I'll make sure you like, subscribe, and share that video as well, as we are encouraging each other. How do you have a disagreement on something and don't come to a resolution but keep both parties happy? I think the first thing that we would suggest is to assess the level of seriousness when it comes to the disagreement. How serious is this thing? You just kind of joked about just trying to decide something to eat. It's sometimes that can be a little bit of a disagreement as well, but it wasn't on a scale of 1 to 10. It wasn't something that could make or break a relationship. So I think you know the first thing to do is assess it. How serious is this? Is this something that can keep us from ever being able to move forward in the relationship?
Definitely, I agree with that. But also, I want to add that when you're looking at any dispute, both parties just want to be heard.
Yes.
So just make the time to just listen to what your significant other wants,
right,
and why they feel that way, especially if it's like a dispute.
Right.
So for example, for me, Joshua, my son, he likes to wear shorts and he likes to wear his socks high. Like I don't get it. I mean,
that for me.
You just look like a ragamuffin. I don't know. You look crazy. Why are you wearing shorts with high socks and not just in church socks? Maybe church socks with sneakers. I just don't get it. So whenever I see him walk out of the room like he's going to school and he's dressed like that, I'm like, well, hold on. Where do you think you're going? You're not gonna dress like that. And then this one here, he comes out, babe, I told him that it was okay. Babe,
it's
right.
something that is kind of tricky for them right now. You know, it's like for me, I was born with church socks on, so you know, I mean, but you know, it's something that was funny because me and Sue had to have a conversation about it, you know, on Joshua's behalf. But I think what's even bigger than that, and that what kind of helps us to get past it Sue made a very good point, is understanding the why. There's always going to be, you know, this is how you feel, this is how you feel, but why do you feel that? If you spend all your time talking about the what, then there will never be compromise, because all we're talking about is the socks and what I feel, you know, but if we talk about why do you feel this way, then there gives you a chance to kind of hear each other out. And that kind of brings us to our next point. You know, it's assessing the level of seriousness, understanding the why behind it, and then understanding there's some topics you're not going to come to an agreement with overnight. So there's certain topics you're just gonna have to revisit, you know, hear each other out, maybe, and then give each other some time before coming back and talking about it.
And then also with that, a lot of people may not really know how they feel about it.
Yeah.
So giving them the time to go back and reassess their thoughts and their minds and their feelings will allow them to question themselves and say, well, how do I really feel about this?
Right.
Depending on what it is,
right,
the seriousness of it,
right,
you can be like, how do I really feel about this?
Right.
And what would be my input regarding?
Right. I mean, it's kind of just, is this a non-negotiable for me? You know, is this something that I can never get past? And there's some matters that could be that serious, and in those kind of matters, you know, maybe you should consider maybe bringing in a third party. Sometimes that could be the path you need to take in order to move forward. And so, you know, I think that's great. Sometimes revisit it. I can think about what I felt about it, but I also have time to think about what Sue felt about it as well. And when you do that, then there's probably a quicker way to get to a compromise.
In a lot of cases, you may not agree.
Yeah.
You may agree to disagree about certain situations.
Right.
So in the situation with my son, yeah, that's very minor. But because it's minor, I'm willing to say, well, it's all right. Just let it go. I won't look. It bothers me, but I won't look. You know.
Yeah.
So, but in cases where it's something that's a little bit more serious,
right?
You like Joshua said, you might want to bring in a third person if you feel like you can't rectify on your own. Every time you come to talk about it or discuss it, it just turns into an argument or a dispute. Maybe there's some other factors in place, something underlying that you may not even realize it, that makes you feel the way you feel about this specific dispute.
And whenever there's two parties that knows that they don't agree on a matter, sometimes you can come to discussion with your guards up. Because you both know I feel this way, I know you don't agree and such, and sometimes you come to discuss it with your guards up. But the best way to approach it is with an open mind. You know, Sue and I we talk about this is saying that we love, where it says, you know, your mind is like a parachute. It works best when open, because an open mind allows you to be able to see and hear, quick to listen, slow to speak. And so you come to it with an open mind, understanding that we care more about each other than we care about being right.
Yes.
And
it's not always about being right. It's about what's best for the relationship to move forward. Can we negotiate it and can we find middle ground in terms of that we're both going to be okay with it.
Absolutely.
You don't want your relationship to be in situations where one person is just always making all the decisions and while the other person is becoming bitter about it.
Absolutely. A successful negotiation is understanding that neither parties will get exactly what they want. It's true, when you come to negotiate, I have my terms and I wanted to meet my terms. You know, the other party wants it to meet their terms. As long as we're thinking like that, there will never be a middle ground. There would always be a standoff, standstill, and never a path forward. But understanding that a successful negotiation is understanding that neither parties will get exactly what they want. It leaves room to actually talk about it and come to a compromise. I was praying one time and just in writing a devotional, and the one thing I heard, and I told Sue before this, is in a relationship, it's not about who's right and who's wrong, who wins or who loses. Because if one of you wins, if only one of you wins, then both of you lose. We both need to feel like we're walking away with something and we both were heard.
When you're looking at the way someone may handle a dispute, different variables that can possibly take place is what happened in a past relationship. That same mind frame, that same decision making skill. And it's just about developing, really sitting down and assessing it and speaking about it, talking about why, and discussing the actual situation, and coming to a common ground, negotiating a common ground.
Very good point.
It should feel like it's a joint decision, not just a decision based upon one person.
Absolutely. I think that's a very, very good point, because sometimes we make decisions based on past experiences. How we make decisions is based on past experiences.
Or even from the home, the way they grew up, the way they saw their parents handle their disputes. So they're bringing that into a relationship that is a completely different dynamic.
Absolutely. You know, sometimes you can bring a survivor's mentality into a relationship, whereas before I feel like I never had got to say. So in this relationship, I'm gonna make sure
I'm gonna say
everything. So I think what's huge is that you talk about why you disagree, but maybe in the very beginning you talk about how are we going to settle disagreements.
Yes.
So you lay it out. This is how we're going to settle disagreements. We're going to hear each other out. You know, we want to see why we feel each. When there's, like they say, rules to engagement. When there's rules, just like a debate, you just can't get on a debate and say whatever you want to say when you want to say it. There's rules to the debate. So basically, you're not just understanding that in a relationship there will be things you may not agree on, or maybe come to a conclusion on, or compromise on initially. What we suggest is having some sort of outline as to how you plan to handle disagreements. Once it's structured, it keeps it from sometimes going way left or way right. So maybe have that open mind and say, okay, there will be times where we may not agree on certain things, and when that time comes, maybe this is the best way for us to handle it.
Assess the level of the dispute. Second, you talk about it. Number 3, you talk about how it affects you and why it affects you. And then number 4, you negotiate and you find a common ground where both of you are making a decision and both of you are walking away feeling like you resolved the situation and both of you have won.
And there was a compromise, exactly. Both of you won. That's the way to handle it. At the end of the day, you want to both feel like you won, because you're on the same team.
Yes.
Then you can't be on the same team and one person wins and one person loses. You either both win or you both lose. And to kind of sum it up, it's about understanding or having a mindset where you want to consider your significant other's happiness just as much as you consider your own happiness. There's no way I can be happy knowing that she's not. And then if you find that there's just no way you can agree on something and it's not going to damage the relationship, then just disagree respectfully.
Exactly. You can agree to disagree.
Yes.
With the things that you agree to disagree on, take that as a case-by-case situation. There may be other variables within the dynamics of whatever happened that may change someone's decision.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's what we have for you all today. You know, great topic, great suggestion, Daniel Fequiere. And then for those of you watching, if there's something that comes to your mind, please suggest it. We really want to make sure that we're helping each other out. We want to make sure that ironing is sharpening iron.
I'm editing it out.
Don't edit that out. We got to make sure we're helping each other out. We are in this together. We're fighting for each other. We're rooting for each other. And then also you get you a nice little shout out if you want to leave us a comment or a suggestion. But
hopefully these tips help you to resolve any disputes that you might be having. And this is not just ways that you could implement in your relationship with your significant other, but just even a friendship in the workplace.
Absolutely.
So these are just what we had in mind for you today.
That's it. So we hope this blessed you. Let me get ready to drive off. But
we're gonna head on now.
We're gonna head on now because I'm hungry for real. And if you don't know what you want, I want my for real. You don't make me think about it. So so we hope that you guys are doing well out there. You're being safe. You're practicing quarantine as we're entering into phases of reopening. Just be safe. Just be safe, you know.
And use common sense.
Yeah, use common sense.
These days, what you see on TV, it's very, very questionable.
Yes.
So.
You make your decision for your household. You may come to an agreement.
Yeah.
All right. And so, God bless you. We love you. Again, my name is Joshua Fequiere.
My name is SueAnn Fequiere.
And we want to thank you for joining us on the First. And remember to keep God first. God bless you all.
God bless you.
Yes.
If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Hit this like button.
Yes.
And comment. And share with a friend.